Hello, friends. Susan Axelrod here, confidence coach. Take two. My daughter just texted, I can't hear you. After last week's episode of Live at 5 with me and my husband, Dr. Howard Axelrod, I got a lot of comments and people saying that was interesting and helpful. And I decided that I would invite him to come on again. And he said that he would be happy to, and but that maybe we could offer people an opportunity to send in questions, and he could kind of field the questions. Who's here? Diane is here. Hi, Diane. Thank you for joining. And Sarah Axelrod is here. Hello, daughter. Thank you for joining us. Diane, thank you for joining us today. I know you're a parent, so I hope the questions will be relevant to you. So what we're going to do is get started. I have questions that I've handwritten down from conversations with people, and you're going to see me looking at my phone because I have some questions that people emailed me. So we're going to get started for a little while. Pam Sullivan is here. Hi, Pam. Thank you for joining us. All right. So hi.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Sorry to be late.
He's the reason we're late. I'm always sitting here at 5 for my live at 5. Okay, no problem. I'd rather be partnering today than not. All right, so thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for doing this. All right, so I have several questions. I'm just gonna get started asking you, and
Sure.
this is like chicken scratch. So let me see. The first one is this. Okay, so generally I was talking to parents about parenting type questions and also family questions. My husband and I have talked about, or he's talked about, I'm listening, the idea of family mental health and family emotional health. But parenting questions are kind of in the mix. So the first one is I'm worried about my kids not wanting to go outside. They may have concerns about going outside, but the real reason is that tech is more fun for them. But I know that being outside is important, so I'm not sure what to do about this.
So I don't know the age that we're talking about.
School-age children.
Well, what does that mean? Are we talking elementary school or are we talking high school?
Elementary and middle.
With younger kids, it really will be incumbent on the parents to be deciding the parameters of what's going to happen. And if we step back for a second, what I talk to people about is that everything now is different. And that all expectations, structures, routines are now changed. So for these kids, for all of your kids, you got to remember, 6:30 came along, you had to get up. 6:35 came along, you were yelling at them to get up. 6:40 came along, you were screaming at them to come down for breakfast. 7:15 came along, the bus was there. You had to be out for the bus. 7:40 came along, they were off the bus into the school, in either in a homeroom or in a cafeteria waiting for first period. And that's what everybody knew. All that's gone. And so for kids to say, I don't want to get up, I don't want to go out, why should I have to? It really, for younger kids in particular, it's really incumbent to build a new structure.
Yeah.
And build a new routine and make it regular every day during the week. If you want to take a Saturday or Sunday and do it differently, that's great. But it's incumbent on the parents to say, no, 8 o'clock comes along, 9 o'clock comes along, whatever it is you choose for your family, that's when you get out of bed. And it also is incumbent to say, there's no technology until 3 o'clock. There's no of your, other than for school.
Gaming.
No gaming,
right.
No FaceTiming,
yeah.
no doing other things other than for school, obviously, until X o'clock.
So creating a real definite structure which mimics the structure that they were familiar with in some way before.
It substitutes the structure that they have come to know. Even for summer, if you think about it, if they went to summer camp, there would be a routine. They'd have to be up at a certain time, they'd have to be getting the bus, or they'd be driven to camp. Even without school, there are things that we've come to expect that are now no longer there.
So this, sorry for interrupting, but this is a real, we talk about crossing over from parenting questions to the family unit. What you're talking about is, yet another thing that the parents have to do to set up these, structures, the parameters, the routine. And that may be hard. Last week you were talking about, it's hard for the parents too. So that actually is another, a little bit of an imposition or a burden on the parents, but in the long run would be better for the whole family unit.
It's not just the kids. I was talking with a mom last week. No, actually it was this week, but
feels like last week.
I lose track of days. I was talking with a mom this week who's working from home. And her daughter is not in school. Her daughter's 12 years old. So she's in a room on her computer, logged in with a headset, doing her work. And her daughter comes in and says, I'm hungry, or I don't understand this, or what am I supposed to do? And the mom said, I'm at work. What do you gotta go figure it out. And what we talked about was saying, I'm not available to you until 11:30. And at 11:30, I'm going to log out, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. But it's as if I was at work, you wouldn't be calling me unless you're bleeding. So you don't knock on the door, you don't come in the room, I'm not available to you, because the parents have to organize themselves in this artificial realm, just as the kids do.
Yeah.
And as we do better, they will do better.
Yeah. All right, that was only the first question. So we're just going to keep moving along. All right, so how do we, as a family, how do we recreate family bonding? Some people maybe, first of all, things that we used to do, like going to the movies, going bowling, going out for dinner as a family in a family unit, you can't do any of those things right now. So how do we create family bonding? And then part two of that was, and on the weekends, at this point, I'm scared to take my family anywhere because everyone is going out. So now I don't even feel like I can take them out. So how do you do this family bonding thing, especially in light of what you were just talking about?
Okay, so there are two very separate issues there. And it's the desire of the parents to want to provide and create while experiencing reality that what is. And there are so many things that we can't do, that we don't have access to, that we just assumed. And so on some level, it calls on us to be creative. On the other hand, if you as a parent are anxious about it, that's going to cascade down to the family, and then there is no bonding going on. That's just worry. So you're not going to the movies, you're not going to go to the restaurant, you're not going bowling. Even if they're open, if you're uncomfortable with it, I would strongly suggest that you don't do it. You don't push yourself to do it, because it will sabotage itself by being too uncomfortable, and that will be a problem. But there are outdoor activities that you could look to do. You can say to your kids, we need to do something together. Everybody, here's your hand sanitizer. Everybody get your mask. We're getting in the car. We wiped it down. we're good. So you provide that assuring message. And now we're going to walk the dog, and we're going to make sure we all maintain our distance, because that's what they told us we need to do, and we're good. We're safe. But we're doing something together. So first, I don't know what's in your neighborhood. We know what you can't do. One. Two is you don't do something that you're not comfortable doing, because that's a problem.
Right, that creates additional stress.
Three, there are things that are available, and then you can set the message, we're okay. And that really is the important message for parents to be conveying. We're okay. We can go to Lake George. We can walk around the lake. We'll maintain distance, and we will spend time together.
This question happened to come from a state in the Midwest.
Oh.
So Lake George is not
That's in the
there.
Adirondacks.
But regardless, anywhere, the key, there's two messages. One is it is important to kind of get creative and do these, even the question is a good question about family bonding activities. And number two is the message of saying, helping your children to understand we're safe. There are things that we can do.
The bonding is not in the activity, it's in the message.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right, let me read another question here. This is a little bit, but I'm sure this person isn't the only one. As soon as this quarantine started, my 9-year-old started being very fearful of things he never was before. He is terrified now of being alone at night in his room. He's even fearful of being upstairs alone when I'm not there, or even alone in any room for that matter. He was never that way. If he was playing on his own, he could stay for any length of time. I've been trying to be understanding given all the craziness and be reassured. There's nothing to be fearful of in our house, but it's getting worse, and I don't know how to address it so that this doesn't become a really serious problem. Then over the weekend, he was even scared outside because there were a lot of bees, and he was never like this before.
Yeah, this is something that is not unfamiliar, and I think we have to be careful about. And I can't speak to this individual kid, but these are very anxious times, and it really cascades down. And so, from a family perspective, providing reassurance in concrete tasks of reassurance would be a place to start. You're okay. Here we go. Here's our hand sanitizer. We're going to do it together. And we've wiped down our house. Our house is clean. Our house is safe. And bees don't have the virus, so we'll go out together. So there's some demonstration of reassurance that happens. So it really starts with the parents reassuring and even providing some rituals that we're okay, and therefore he's okay. Now, if this migrates, and anxiety disorders migrate, they start very small and then they generalize to other things that become problematic, I would very much encourage you to seek out a professional to help with that. But locally in the house, sending the message that we're okay, and here's how we're okay. We're okay because we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. We know that bees don't have the virus, and I'll be with you so that your son can see that things are safe. The place to start.
Yeah, so what's common in there, which is very interesting and I think would be helpful for parents, you said it both times, is that you are very concrete and you create these rituals. You make it concrete. When we're stressed as parents and we're worried and we're anxious and we're overwhelmed, so as it is, as in the mother he just talked about, then it's hard to remember to breathe and find our patients more, have concrete things. That's really helpful. I think that's really helpful for you to people know I'm resonating back from when I was a parent. So to let them know, yeah, these are concrete messages that you can give. They're concrete you can do. Okay.
I would add one more layer to it, and this is not specific to this situation, but kids often be activated in order to get their parents involved. So they'll complain, they'll become symptomatic, they'll act out. If we're so distracted and we're so enmeshed in our own to what we're struggling with, then the kids find ways to draw us in, not in a healthy way. And so I'm not saying that that's what's going on with this kid.
Right. It's not uncommon.
It got his mother's attention.
Ah. As always. Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for joining us today. I see people are making comments, but they're way over there, and I can't see them. So if anybody has questions, we're not taking live questions there. You need them to me in advance, but if you write them down there, I'll take note of them and we'll answer it next time. Except I see our own child says,
"Get a dog."
Me. Oh, says get a dog. And then she also says, "Excuse me, you are a parent, Mom." I meant a parent of young children, honey. All right. So I think this is a very big a common question that people would have, and that is this. So there's creating the routines of getting it. There's something about how getting the work done. There seems to be, like for some of the young kids, they're getting these assignments. There are a lot of it, and the teachers don't really know what is or is not getting done, or why. I guess it's more like why something might not be getting done. So if you go to school and you get sick or something comes up, you have a note, and you send it in as an excuse for the kid not to have gotten the work done. Now, because everybody seems to be navigating the online schooling also from the teacher's perspective, there's something about how do you deal with a kid who feels overwhelmed from all the work, and it's hard to figure out how to support them to get it all done, but also allow them to be okay with what they can do. There's a little bit of overwhelm there about the schoolwork situation. And communicating with the teacher is in here. The teachers don't know what is or is not getting done.
Yeah.
When do you draw the line? How much you have to force a kid to get all this work done?
Well, it's not on the kid alone. Here in New York, they've suspended school for the rest of the year. And so all education at this point is online. So in New York, there are over 400, I think there are 700 school districts. So there's tremendous variability in the messages that are being sent first to the faculty and then to the kids. So anecdotally, locally, I hear kids who say, yeah, my teacher posted a movie, I'm supposed to watch the movie. I've had other kids who have said, my teacher said she's going to be online, I have to go online at 11 o'clock, I have to see the assignment, and it has to be in by Friday. So the standards have been very, very different. I had a student that I talked to this week who said she's doing okay, and most of her teachers are available for her except her math teacher. And her math teacher, is her toughest class, and it's the one she needs the most help with. But the teacher has not been available. And so I said, have you asked for a Zoom meeting? You said, I'm a visual learner, I need to see what you want from the assignment so that I can get it done the way it needs to get done. And she said, no, I didn't think of doing that. So the moral of the story was the teacher didn't initiate that, but I encouraged the student to initiate that. Now, I would encourage parents to check in with their kids about what barriers may exist. Did you get your math assignment done? No, I couldn't get a hold of him. He wasn't available. So let's reach out, ask for an opportunity so that we can get it done together. So there's a lot of variability,
Right.
But parents have to take the initiative to ask what's working and what's not, because there are some wonderful people out there who are stepping up and just being exceptional. But it's not because kids are lazy. But if we do know with teenagers, if you don't tell me to do it, I don't do it.
Right, but also, I mean, those educators, those teachers, I mean, it's all just craziness. It's just like chaos going on. The teachers have their own kids at home. I mean, you hear stories about that, but underlying what you're saying is communication. I have another question about the work. This one says, I don't feel like my kid overloaded. I feel like his teachers have been pretty good, and but I have to fight. We are always in a battle. I try, for him to get the work done because he thinks he's on vacation, and I'm always no matter what. I try and try different things and different approaches, and it's hard. I almost feel grateful in a way that we have this time together, but then when we battle about school, then I just feel bad. So
do we know how old the kid is?
8 or 9.
Okay, so at 8 or 9 years old, the mom set the parameters. For 11 to 1, we're in school.
So once again, they're really the agreement. There's
8 or 9 year olds vote.
They don't get a vote, right? So there's real routine, structure, communication, and both with the student and also with the teacher.
Now, she could set up a special area in the house. This is your classroom now until you go back to school. But at 8 o'clock, I'm ringing the bell. You're going to be sitting at the chair. You're doing your work. Then we'll break for lunch. Then we'll go out for recess. We'll play in the yard.
So you're really mimicking.
But the mom would need to, or the dad
Yeah.
would need to create that infrastructure, and then you don't.
No argument. Right. Structure does support that when there's a clear expectation set. Yeah. Parents are struggling because you don't.
Our structure is compromised.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard to impose structure on others when we're feeling so.
Right, exactly. Well, we've gone so far over, but I have more questions. I'm going to close with one more question because this came up actually from a few parents. So thank you for staying with us if you're still with us. And that is this final question now is it's about their children or friends. The teenage kids on the phone forever, on the Zoom, but younger children, maybe under 12 or something, say are suffering. I spoke with one parent today who told me that her daughter is wondering if her friends still like her anymore, if she still has friends. Another parent also with a daughter who's like 6, I think, who's very social, overtly so, and whatever, is very about missing her friends, but she doesn't have an ability to talk on the phone with her friends. A 6-year-old, 7-year-old that isn't, or like a Zoom call for an time or whatever. So the idea of how do these kids stay in touch with their friends when they're not allowed to see them, or how is it affecting them maybe?
Well, okay, so this is a multi-layered question as well, and it really does depend on the age of the kid.
Yeah.
We have to be creative. So, for example, I spoke with a mom who has a daughter who graduated from 5th grade. So they have this ascension ceremony, typically, where they move from elementary school to
Ceremony.
the moving up.
Yeah, moving up ceremony.
They call it ascension.
Yeah.
Wasn't religious, but to middle school. And the teachers decided to hold a reverse parade. So the teachers all lined up in the parking lot and invited all the kids to drive by so that they could wave and they could say hello. So there was a great connection, and the kids made posters and placards, and they waved back. And so, first of all, there is technology, and the kids are younger, then parents can facilitate a FaceTime. They can do a technology play date with their other parents and say, we'd like to get on Zoom with you this time. Zoe wants to talk to Bill, and they'll wave, and there'll be some connection.
Right, and that was an interesting thing, because the one thing was that that there was some comment about how there wasn't attention span for an extended conversation, and I thought to myself, well, maybe that was all they needed, was to see each other very briefly.
That's a different issue. About attention span, this is about worrying because I don't see my friends every day when I go to school. Exactly. Is she still there?
Right.
And there can be reassurance she's still there, and depending on the age, the adult may need to facilitate and orchestrate that.
Yeah.
And even if it's for 5 minutes,
exactly,
Zoe can wave to Billy,
right,
and he's still there, and she's still there. How you doing? That's good.
Yeah.
That's all that's required.
Yeah.
Older kids take care of themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a different issue about limit setting up that technology. But for younger kids who are worried about people in their lives, there are creative ways for them to be reassured, whether, even if it's, can we drive by your driveway and Billy can be standing in the driveway?
Well, I have one person who who spoke to me, who has a 17-year-old daughter with a boyfriend, and they're socially distancing, seeing each other. She's on the stoop and he's in the driveway over there, and they're kind of waiting. It's just heartbreaking.
Now, another thing that people are doing, this seems to be a trend now, is writing with chalk. And for your kids, you give them chalk and you say, send a message. Write a message or draw a picture in front of his house. And we'll ask him to do it for us too. And there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot on YouTube. But there are ways to be reassured and to sustain some semblance of connection, even if you can't do it in person.
Yeah, this is great. This is so great. This was forever. I'm sorry, everybody, but I just felt like...
I talked too long.
No. There's a lot of questions. I didn't even get to ask all the questions. So if this was helpful for you, I would love a like, I would love a share, but most importantly, I'd love to have you let me know. And will you come?
Sure.
Okay.
Our daughter says we have to get a dog. I'm not sure what that is going to...
I don't know the comments. I see them because I'm closer. I'm out of context. So Pam Sullivan says, thank you so much. Sarah's made all kinds of comments. We got love from Diane. Thank you very much for joining us live today. If you're watching this by video recording, please type in #replay. And if you have any questions, I'm easy to find. I'm on Facebook every single day. You can put my comment lines. You can private message me. If you go to my website, whatwillyourlegacy.com, you can find my email very, very easily, or you can connect with me there. All right, thank you. That was fun and interesting and a little bit sad, scary as well. But it's the real life that we're living I really feel that it's important to keep it real with people. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. See you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday. If you celebrate, Shabbat Shalom. And if not, have a wonderful weekend. I know it's going to be cold and snowing in our area of the country. Bundle up and get outside anyway. Bye.